Okay, this is a production monitoring system controller right here with 8 buttons and a knob. Then this is a LED display which displays the results from that controller. Now this is actually just a keypad, so it actually sends the commands off to the controller from the which is actually the display. So all the intelligence is actually in the display, and the keypad simply sends commands. Okay, the buttons are assigned. First of all, the mode button determines whether the unit's going to count up or count down. The run pause button starts or stops the timer. The reset button resets the timer. The select button selects what the knob controls when you're performing setups and settings. Then there's 3 stored presets across the bottom. Those are for storing as a non-volatile memory, various settings as you want them to be. So the way that works is you set up the settings the way you want them, press and hold the preset button. That stores whatever setting you've set up into that particular memory. And then the final button here is called count, and it displays the number of widgets made in the case of a production monitoring system. And in the case of this application here, it's going to simply show numbers in terms of dollars and cents. Okay, and then the knob is used for changing settings. So for instance, if I want to change the time, I turn the knob and it changes the number of minutes. I press the select button, it changes the number of hours. Change the select button again, it changes the number of seconds. So it cycles through the 3 choices. Now what we're going to do for this application, the application is for counting dollars and cents, and we want it to automatically increment in steps of 1 cent or 5 cents or $1 or $10 or $20 or whatever dollar amount we decide upon. And we're going to set this thing up to automatically sequence through and increment the count at a periodic rate. So in order to set this up for an increment, let's say once every 5 seconds, we set this to 5 seconds. So we set the minutes to 0, we skip past the hours, and we set the seconds to 5. So now every 5 seconds the count will increment by whatever amount we decide upon. Okay, now to make this all function, we have to press and hold the run pause button to go into the setup mode, and the first setting here determines the way the timer operates. And mode 2 is the mode we want. That's the mode that causes it to automatically restart and continue the counting every 5 seconds. And we press the select button. This takes us to the next mode. This displays time in different modes, from hours, minutes, seconds, hundreds. We don't really care about this feature in this case because we're not looking at time, we're going to be looking at count and dollars and cents. The next setting, this determines some default modes. Mode L00 happens to be go to countdown mode, and that's where we want to have it. L01 would be count up mode, which we don't care about in this case. So we're going to leave it at L00. The next setting we're not going to change. This sets up a unit address. We don't need this feature, so we're going to leave it at A00. And this is an extended address setting. We're going to leave also at A000, which we're not using the feature. And then this mode here sets the number of digits, and so we can change the number of digits to displayed. We want 8 digits, so we're going to set it to E8. And C02, this sets up the data output mode, and we want to set it to C02. Then these other modes we're not going to be using If you are interested in all the other modes, there is a complete document, user manual describing all the functions and features of this controller. What we're interested in right now is a summary of just the features that we're interested in for this application, or where we're counting dollars and cents. And we're going to ignore all the other features and functions of this controller. Okay, now we've already set the time to 5 seconds, and you notice it's counting down to 0, and it's counting from 5 and back down to 0 again. So it's going to keep repeating that on a periodic basis. So we're going to stop it for right now. Well, you want to set up the count. So we're going to press the count button. Now this count, there's two different kinds of counts. One's a manual count, which is what this one is, and then there's also an automatic count. And we don't care about the manual count, we want the automatic count. So we press and hold the count button, and this displays an automatic count. And this is the current count is 1901 and 13 cents. We can change the starting number. So if I want to start at 20 cents, I can change the dollars here. I can change the upper digits to whatever number I want. And then that changes the starting number for the count. Now, if I press and hold the select button, this puts us into another setup mode. It's called scale factor. And what this does is determines the count increment. So if I want to change the increment to some other number, I can rotate the knob and select that. I can also change the upper digits by pushing the select button and turning the knob once more to some different number. And so that's $30.90 right there. So now I press the count button again, and I'm back to the count there. If I press the run button, that starts the timer running, and it's going to start counting every 5 seconds. Now I'm going to go over and press the count button. Now I'm going to press and hold the count button. Now I'm in the display mode, and it shows $3,102.90. Now every 5 seconds I'm going to increment to the next increment that we'd set in there earlier. And so you'll notice here that every 5 seconds the count is moving forward. Now I'm going to pause it. Now we have to have it paused in order to make any setting change. So what I want to do is I want to change this from 5 seconds to 1 second. Because of the way this thing operates, I have to set this thing to 0, 0, 0 to get 1 second. So I'm going to set it to 0, and then I'm going to press run. Now it's running again. You see the light blinking, that indicates running. Press the count button. I press and hold the count button. Now I'm seeing the changes occur once every second. So I can change the rate at which it counts, the period that it counts, the starting number at which it counts. I can also change the scale factor, or the step or increment that occurs each time the count changes. Now, if I want to save these settings, while the counter is running, I can press and hold the preset button until you see a blink on the display. You saw the little 0 blink there. That stored that setting into the preset. Now I can change this count and put a different number into a different preset. So if I have 3 different numbers I want, I can set up 3 different presets. So that stores it automatically. So let's take a look what happens here if I unplug the power. I'm going to turn it off and give it a few seconds. Now I'm going to plug it back in again. Now I'm going to press the reset button. Actually, first of all, I want to press the recall 1 button, or the preset 1 button. That recalls it and starts the timer running. Now we're seeing the time here, so I have to press the count button and then press and hold the count button, and then you'll see the count changing. Now the one thing the power off doesn't store is the starting number. It stored the increment and it stored the time interval, but it didn't store the starting number. So if I want to change that, I hit the pause button, press the count button, press and hold the count button, turn the starting number, press the select button to move over to a digit pair, press the select button again to move over to another digit pair, and press run, and then I have to press the count button and then press and hold it to show the running count as it's incrementing. And that's it. There it's